Greetings and salutations, old friends, and hopefully some new friends. We are back once again, on track and ready to attack. Boy, it has been a bang up week for Conspiracy Land. In the last few weeks, we've gotten proof that Bob Lazar never stepped foot on Area 51. We've had an original witness to Travis Walton abduction case coming out and saying the whole thing was a hoax. We've got all these UFO celebrities working with a convicted fraud felon in the state of Florida. By the way, he took those videos down from YouTube, raffling off a Rolls Royce. So to all the people who said that I was incorrect in my assumption that that was an illegal gambling scam, you have your answer. And now, friends, now we have Miles Johnston of the Basis Project. For those unaware, the Basis Project has been around for ages, sort of like Project Camelot. And so many characters from Conspiracy Land started out there. Miles Johnston on July 29th was arrested for rape. And I gotta tell you, it didn't come as a surprise to me. After all, there has been rumors about him being some kind of a sex creeper when women were around for quite some time. Like many of these characters, there has been accusations, but not actual criminal charges. Now there's criminal charges being leveled against Mr. Johnston in the form of rape charges. Now, I have loosely followed the Basis Project, but not really. Mostly because I considered that channel a channel full of science fiction fantasy stories from people who claim to be super soldiers. You know, fighting reptilian aliens on Mars and things like that. I never found anything credible to most of his guests. It's largely a channel full of science fiction fantasy. To me, you know, they pretend the stories are real, but I didn't really follow him very closely. Others have. And so tonight, we're very happy to bring her here. Our guest tonight will be Tere Joyce, who is from the Not My Rabbit Hole channel. And I'm a terrible show host, so I'm going to have to, while we're talking, put her YouTube channel in the description. It will be in the description before the show ends tonight. Let's bring her here. Tere, how are you? Good to see you.
Good. How are you, Steve? Good to see you.
And we have not caught up offline, but I know you were moving and all this stuff, right?
Yes, I moved and I started college.
Yeah, good.
Actually,
good for you.
I took a screenplay writing class today, and at the end of the day, my instructor asked me if I wanted to do a monologue in a theater production of
I saw that's awesome.
Isn't that
And you know what?
exciting?
I just want to
excited.
tell you that I'm really sorry, though.
But
Well, you know, for those that don't know, Tere Joyce started her career at the height of fame. Like, she was on the very first season of Last Comic Standing, right? And now she's here. So I just want to apologize for this downslope that you had to take here. And you know what? I have a question from question from the live chat. Matthew Riot, thank you kindly for your kindness, your generosity, and your support with a kind and generous $4.99 super chat. Did I miss the Jan Harzan expose when that went down? Yes, you did, and we covered that. Jan Harzan, for those that don't know, was the international head of MUFON, and he got arrested for trying to solicit sex from what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. So, Tere, why is there so many sex creepers in Conspiracy Land? I don't know. Do you know?
No, I suspect that there are, and it's all being exposed right now. You know, because like Simon Says and the necktie thing. My question is it a clip-on? You know, because it's so.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Jan Harzan, not only did he get arrested for trying to solicit sex from a 13-year-old girl, but he was wearing a MUFON shirt with the MUFON logo on it when he went to go have sex with what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. So I guess he was trying to impress her, like, I investigate UFOs. Let's have sex, 13-year-old girl. But I gotta do something here. We have to praise the cash and thank Matthew Riot. Thank you for helping us praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
That's how we do it here now, Terry. So yeah, why? With regard to, let's get back to this, Miles Johnston. So many conspiracy land
Okay.
people have come out of the Basis Project. We've got Max Spears, we've got Sarah R. Adams, we've got uh, James Cowbolt, right?
Casbolt, James
Casbolt,
Casbolt, Randy Kramer, Angel Power
yeah,
Disney has also come out of the Basis Project as well.
yeah. And
Oh,
for
and
those that don't
Christine
know, we
Hart. She
Christine Hart, yeah. And for those that don't know, we followed
right.
closely Sarah R. Adams, and a lot of people don't know this, right, Terry? But before she decided she was an intuitive psychic healer with superpowers, first she was a super soldier with superpowers, and she was on the
Right.
Basis Project. Great, great.
Yeah.
Now I just want to we just want to share. I want to share my screen and share one thing here. We have um, uh, Marie's UFOs, who's a channel I watch. She's got a great breakdown of these rape charges and Miles Johnston's sort of response to that, right? So I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna cite fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about well-known conspiracy theorist Miles Johnston's recent arrest for rape. And here we go.
Hi there, folks. Greetings from lovely Ireland. I'm in Kildare at the moment. Um, just a quick one. Well, I've got a few minutes. Just everyone's having a little nap. I'm having a little afternoon coffee here. Catching up on my email. I've heard from several. I've had some shocking news from several sources in the last couple of days, and seems to be legit. Miles Johnston has made a Facebook post on his base's Facebook, the members only. I'm not a
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention I've gotten a couple of emails when people heard what I was going to do on the show tonight, Terry, and people are like, "Do you have the copy of the arrest records? Are you sure he got your?"
Well,
Listen,
that's what I was looking for. I couldn't find them.
wow.
And one of the things that, I know Kevin Moore has also looked into this, and he said that they don't give them out. Like, I don't think it's the same as like in the
It's not the
United
same in the
States.
United States. But what I
Right.
wanted to just mention is that no man on earth would go on Facebook and start talking about being arrested for rape if it didn't happen, unless this is some kind of a clever con, which I don't think it is, because
Well,
I've
some
checked with people I
are
know.
saying it,
Yeah, but I've
it's
checked.
a really far way to go for a con.
If it is a con, that's a hell of a con. Hey, I got charged with rape because the men in black framed me because I'm getting too close to the truth and they're trying to shut me down. So they charged me with rape and shut down my YouTube channel all in the same week. Right? Who would do that, right? But here we can have
Right. And it's saying that
we
it's
can have this
protected.
we can have this host from Marie's UFO channel subscribe to her channel. Give us the breakdown of what Miles Johnston himself is saying about these rape charges.
member, so I can't see it. But the post has been sent to me, and several other people have seen it, and it's still there. So if you're a member, or if you want to join, whatever, see it. There you go. It's on his Facebook page. It's still up. I'm going to read it out. Note, I wish it to be known that shortly after my primary YouTube channel has been taken down, an extremely serious charge of rape has been attributed to myself, and I was arrested for this on Thursday, 29th of July, 2021. This is the investigation stage, and I've spent 7 hours in a prison cell at Melksham Police Station.
Oh, there we go. So Terry, I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
can even do international calling, but I'm gonna figure it out tomorrow. I just want to make sure that the listeners understand that I'm gonna call this police station myself. They may not be able to give me copies of the arrest records, but they're going to be able to confirm or deny to a media representative whether this man was actually charged with rape or not. I'm almost certain of it, so we will follow that up.
Okay.
I just want to be absolutely honest with the audience in that I haven't done that yet, but I have several sources in England, one of which is kind of a mutual friend between Miles Johnston and my show. I don't know. And he said, no, he really did get arrested and charged. So There we have it.
where I have been helping the police with their inquiries. I've been released without bail while investigations continue. My mobile phone has been seized for investigations, and I understand that all my computers will be seized for investigation. So the entire base's resource and all hard drives are expected to be seized, which means complete extinction of my work since bases started. Normally, all such computers are destroyed and all information retained. I have strenuously denied this charge. I helped an extremely intoxicated person back to their home in the rain last Saturday night, and this has been turned into a rape assault. Facing the complete eradication of bases and facing an extremely long jail sentence is now the situation. Most importantly, may the person concerned heal and be safe, and the guilty parties be found. I absolutely refute this charge. Okay, there you go, folks. Breaking.
Yeah, so like, may the guilty parties be found. What, like? Oh, I didn't rape her. It was somebody else. It was somebody else that raped that girl. Yeah, he's the victim. The deep state.
It's a honeypot.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, all right.
I have nothing really to say on it at the moment, but one thing did come to mind is there is a charge. Well, not a charge. There is a complaint on his. In his name at the moment that I did for stalking and harassment, and he was ordered to leave me alone. And
yeah, so I have heard various reports that he has stalked and harassed women, and here we have confirmation of that. I have no reason to disbelieve that this girl indeed filed a complaint against him for stalking and harassment, and according to her, the police upheld that, and he was told to leave her alone and stay away from her. Great.
Can I mention something about Maria Kiley? Okay, Maria Kiley was she was a part of the Amash program, which was to help victims that were abductees by aliens. They did like a mainstream like documentary about them, which they also showed Simon Says. Simon Says drawing pictures and all that footage comes from that documentary, which you can see on Amazon Prime. I feel that she submitted to a DNA test to determine whether or not she was an alien or not, and she failed the DNA test. And then she did a lie detector test. And to me, I felt that when she failed the test, the lie detector guy was rude to her, and I kind of honestly felt, maybe it's an instinct, but I felt she was kind of almost like set up to be humiliated by that.
Yeah,
because
people do that. People do that for sure. They do that. Yeah.
I mean, I can't prove that, but it just read that way to me. Now, her daughter committed suicide during the production. Now, Joanne Summerskills, his partner on the Amash program, there was he has a. So I was searching for his admission too in public. Like I looked on his website, and he says I have to clear things up, or it was something, but it wasn't about that. It was about this illegal pornography, that these crossover domains that were matching up different and looked like his, but may have had illegal pornography, how there was pornography witnessed on his computer. And he said, well, but I wasn't editing pornography. I have some porn star, something with the KK, something cups or whatever. I know a famous porn star, and I have naked pictures of her, and she's quite like, she's a lovely woman, all this kind of crap. And so what if I would have pornography on my stuff? And then Joanna Summer, he had a link. This is his own website. He had a link to Joanna Summerskills. They had a huge falling out. There was him stalking people that were in the production, her feeling that he was even sabotaging, but the production, he could go, oh, well, that's just a media feud. But there was, the witnessing of pornography by people, women feeling uncomfortable around him. So there's been a background.
You know what? That's kind of crazy. It's like if I have a female guest at my house, would I be like showing off pornography on my computer while a female guest was at my house? If I did have it. And I will neither, Tere Joyce, confirm or deny that I have pornography on any of my computers. But, it's like bizarre. It's like bizarre. Well, it's like pulling it up on purpose to see what they say. Yeah. It's
a work environment. It's a media environment. It's a work environment. And, I I guess because it's like pirate radio or it's internet or whatever, they're not respecting. Like, if you did this on a real set and you just happen to have pornography there, that could be a sexual harassment suit right off the bat.
Absolutely.
You can't even do that in the workplace. But he was in the workplace, and he was doing these things to women that were associated with being abductees, experiencers, traumatized people, apparently.
Who already may not be mentally stable,
He's perpetuated this targeted individual helping you. I'm to help you. And yet it seems like he may actually be the perp. Now, I read these off his own website. He shows them as, he explains what really happened in his own words. He's always a victim. It is always a honeypot. Of course,
yeah. And it's the cabal.
Honestly, I'm appalled. I'm appalled he asked for money. And if they're confiscating his hard drives and his everything, and he says, oh, I need money to put these things together. Well, what is he going to put together anything with if it's been taken?
Yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah, hold on. Let's finish listening to this, and then we're going to hear his pitch for money, which to me is ridiculous. Like, if I just got charged with rape, the last thing I'd be doing is going on the internet and begging for money to buy new computers or whatever. It's crazy. And he doesn't mention the rape charge in that, but let's hear what the rest of this is first, and then we'll get to that, friends.
That's on his case, which will be there for the police to see, so it's a record, and they have records of my complaints and other complaints from other people. So I don't know who he's going to go to for character references, or if they look at his background. Plus, he's got all this information on the porn sites. God knows what he's got on his systems. So this could be the beginning of something bigger than the rape charge. But there you go, folks.
Wow.
I've nothing else to say on that, but things will come out, I suppose, and more news will come out on this, and other people have been picking it up, so there'll be a lot more, I suppose, come out on this. Okay, hope everyone's well. Weather is shit. It's been raining here for 3 days. Not doing much, just seeing family. We had some catch up, sitting up all night, and oh my god, we're all wrecked after 3 days of it. Coming back on the 4th.
Okay, well that's about it for that. That's great. So here we have confirmation that there's multiple complaints filed against him for one thing or another, stalking, harassment, whatever, and they always got a rape charge. And I love how he says, I was just helping a drunk girl, home, and this turned into a rape charge. Yeah.
Right.
How does that happen?
And again, that statement could even protect him. Like, oh, she wasn't in her right sense, so how would she know what I did to her? By calling her a drunk woman, just even in public, is an insult if she in fact really is a victim.
Well, and also it's facts of the case. So it's probably, look, no lawyer on earth would tell you after a rape charge or any serious criminal charge, they would say, don't say anything on the internet because it could all be used against him. If this gets in front of a jury and they hear that he's going on the internet blaming the cabal for this rape charge being leveled against him, that's not going to go real well for him, right?
Well, wasn't that predictable though? I mean, like when I heard that he had the charge, I go, okay, now he's a victim. He's been set up, because that's what they all say in this media. It's real easy to go,
UFO Watchdog. UFO Watchdog is here. He says he was helping her home and he tripped right into her vagina, I guess. Like, come on, man. This is just totally ridiculous. And we've seen this happen time and time again. For those that don't know, Stan Romanek, famous alien contactee, he got caught with kiddie porn all over his computers, and he blamed the Men in Black. He literally blamed the Men in Black. He said that they put it there because he was getting too close to the truth about aliens, Tere Joyce. He was telling people the truth about those aliens, so they put kiddie porn on his computer to discredit him. Sure they did.
Right. They're all set up.
I mean, I'm not saying that kind of thing can't be done, but, these guys always jump. They always jump to the Men in Black framed me. Wendell Stevens famously did this as well. Wendell Stevens was a very famous UFO researcher, most famous probably for the Billy Meyer hoax case. He was a big supporter of that. There's a book on Amazon right now that I had some involvement with. He claimed that there was a CIA conspiracy against him, and they forced him to plead guilty to multiple counts of child molestation, or they were going to kill him or something. The whole story is crazy. And there's no evidence, period, that the CIA had anything to do with him other than he was a sex creeper. He molested children, multiple victims, multiple cases. And what did the UFO community do? They hired him to tell his alien stories at UFO conferences, even knowing that he just got out of jail and spent 8 years in prison for molesting children. He was welcome at all these UFO conferences. This is the cesspool that conspiracy land is.
Well, a lot of
Crazy.
people that are involved in this media that have been speaking at these at those events have gone to prison. It's common. It seems a theme with especially around Carrie Cassidy.
Yeah. Somebody said school run Stevens. Yeah, and the whole thing with all of this stuff is just like, it's almost a game to these people. Like, somebody gets their YouTube channel deleted because they're spreading medical disinformation. And hey, these people are stupid, if you ask me, because they know that's a hot topic that could get your channel deleted. They can continue to have these quack nutters on talking about all kinds of stupid things. And then they blame the government when they get, it's the men in black, it's the cabal. They're trying to shut me down because I'm telling everybody the truth. It's crazy. But let's take a look at this. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to hear from the man himself, and we're going to hear about his pitch. He's calling it a positional statement after takedown, which is crazy, but okay. Yeah, let's hear him pitch for some new. He wants you to send him 3,000 pounds, right, Terry?
That's right, 3,000 pounds.
I better get my wallet out because I want people to know the truth about the super soldiers and the aliens. And Terry, one other thing I just want to mention, that C.W. Channer talks about this. How come none of these super soldiers ever look to be in as good a shape as a regular soldier, let alone some kind of super soldier? They're always like fat, out of shape, aging, balding, right? You never see a super... Yeah, or small. I've never seen one of these guys that claims to be a super soldier that look like Captain America, right? They all look like some fat slob that's bald and like seen better days. But they got superpowers. All right, let's hear what Mr. Johnston has to say about his channel being taken down.
Okay, this is a positional statement from Miles Johnston of the Basis Project, which has been going since 1994. For those of you who've been following the Basis Project, it's been a very long ride. It's 1994, 1993. That's as long ago as we were going back, when we basically stopped shooting the pirate radio series and the Irish era of pirate radio, and we took those cameras and we started to do a thing called Bases. It's called Bases because it deals with bases, and that was Barry King way back in those days.
I love how he's been doing radio since 1994, but he doesn't know how to work a microphone, too. Listen to all that buzz. It's great. And people complain about my show, Terry. They keep telling me I need a better microphone. Listen to this guy with 25 years experience in producing radio shows. It's crazy.
Shortly after the conference, the Bases 2021 conference, which was held at the barge in Honey Street, one of the... a series of strikes which were being maliciously created by a certain organization resulted in 20-odd years of of bases being taken down. That's over 1,500. It's 1,500 odd interviews. And
Terry, this did remind me that I got to start doing backups, because one thing I will agree with some of these guys who get their channel taken down is YouTube can just pull your channel at any moment and you'll lose everything if you don't have backups of everything.
Files uploaded. So secondary to that, an extremely serious incident and situation has happened with me personally.
It's a serious situation, Terry. He didn't say, I got charged with rape and arrested for it. He said, it's a serious situation. Right? Pretty serious.
And that is going to have to play out. And we'll see where that takes us. So right now, we in the last week we've been doing the initial stages of basically collating bases from bases 1 right up to bases 116, which is the final one, which had Dr. Richard Fleming's section on various things, which in this era of continued harassment on the truth and censorship, I can't even say what the hell that is.
Yeah, and that's one of those medical quacks that got his channel taken down, right? I think, for talking about completely and totally made up horseshit related to the current health crisis.
And there's probably 15,000 different things all being written into codes of practice which are violating as soon as you decide to actually think about anything. Okay, the situation is that we are in a collation and see what we've got mode. Now, I've just left off something like 12 to 16 terabytes of damaged hard drives which for one reason or another have failed. And I've had a little box of those gathering more and more, and now we're going to make because we are missing or appear to be missing quite a few of the bases numbers. Again, we don't actually know that yet because it's a lot to sort of try and get across.
Terry, you know, his whole pitch here too involves that the police confiscated all of his computers. And
Right.
here he is surrounded by all these computers. So
I know. It's weird. I mean, and then I've heard people like I read one where he said, "I'm probably going to have my computers taken. They're probably going to come after me." But then I saw in the last video that you played, there was a text where he said they took my mobile device.
Yeah, they even took his
it's
phone.
which is it? It's look. He doesn't look like he's missing anything right now. Or did they just take the hard drive?
Yeah, they could have just taken the hard drives.
Because the way that things worked over all the years, there wasn't any one particular thing that you put things into. It grew as it did, and now it's time to put it all together. Try to get all of them in a row, all lined up, everything in there, so we know what we've got and what we don't have. We may even have to go back to the camera tapes, the original camera tape media, and see if we have to recover that. Now, the problem with digital technology is if it's on a hard drive, because that's the only way you can realistically store the stuff. Once those hard drives go, it's extremely expensive to recover them. So, I'm looking for £3,000 to do that. Now,
Yeah, do you think he's going to start a legal defense fund too, so he can get out of the rape charge? Maybe
Probably.
ask for another like
Why
10
not?
grand for the lawyer I need to get out of the rape charge. Great.
that's a heck of a lot less than if we did it by sending these things off to these companies, which charge about 1,200 quid a drive at least, and those are old prices. So we are doing what we can to recover what we've got, and then we're going to stick that onto a series of hard drives. And if you want to buy that, if you want the entire basis collection,
I love the
whole
pitch.
that's the idea, is that will be available.
And this is too bizarre, Terry, because if I had just been arrested for rape, would I be worrying about pitching my archive for sale? This is crazy.
Now,
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre.
that I
yeah.
think might end up. It's going to be 4 or 5. You have the basic problem is you stick them on 2 or 3 really big drives, or you stick them on a series of smaller drives, and then if one dies, you've got backups on the other, and so forth. So the hard drive is a very useful system, but it doesn't. No digital technology hangs around a long time, and is a good way of keeping them. Our ancient forefathers knew how to do it. They went and put all the data in standing stones. Anyway, in a realistic way, we're looking for raising £3,000 to get this job done. Then hopefully we will fill in all the holes in the missing bases. Some of the bases may not be worth, they may have a lesser importance.
You know, and one of the other things that occurs to me, Terry, is that's kind of funny is that this whole pitch is I didn't make adequate backups. So now you, my viewers, are going to have to pay me to get this stuff back, right?
Yeah,
But
it's disorganized.
Yeah,
And
yeah. We all have to help him. We all have to help a man that was just arrested. We all have to help a man who is just arrested for rape so that the internet doesn't lose his archive of talking to people that claim they have superpowers.
yes.
Yeah.
some of them have a
Yeah.
great deal of importance, and if we're missing those, it's a big deal. So this is a positional statement. What we're going to do is we're going to basically coast for the next couple of months, getting this sort of situation under wraps, under control. And because really, at this stage in the game, if you don't know about transhumanization, if you don't know about all the secret stuff that they're doing, it was too late, really. So
Unless you give me $3,000, Terry Joyce, then it's not too late. Because I've got all this secret information that's so important, I never backed any of it up. It's so important, I never bothered to do a backup.
Right. I mean,
stuff.
didn't he see it coming? I mean, YouTube's cutting off people right and left. Most of us are prepared to not be here tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. It's
Yeah, I have about half of my shows right now back. I have the whole first show that I did backed up in the cloud and on 4 separate hard drives, and I'm working on the Truthseekers episodes now because, if something were to happen, and I have to be very clear in saying I avoid the topics that I know are hot button and may be problematic. I even tell guests, please don't talk about it, but sometimes they do anyway, and I feel like muting them, no, don't say that. Letter of the alphabet and medical stuff right now is 2 things I don't want to talk about.
Kiss of death. And
yeah.
really, what is the future in continuing to do updates or whatever, any kind of basis as such? There are other people who are starting out. They're trying to hold rallies and whatever. Again, all of that looks as if it's we're in.
Yeah, Terry, maybe you and I should host a rally for a rapist, right? Oh, I'm sorry, alleged rapist. He's not. In fairness, the man has not been convicted of rape yet. So.
Right,
but,
and still we got to call the police and find out for sure. Because what if
this is a con? Yeah, what if this is a con?
One big con, because they're always in trouble. They always have these issues. Like even Sean David Morton, I began to wonder, he's begging for money because he went back to prison. And he's
I got to check into that because I heard he got out and then I heard he went right back. So I don't know what happened. Yeah,
people could make their donations on Carrie's site.
Great. So Carrie's I know she's been
up the money for Sean David Morton.
She's collecting money for that guy who robbed all of these old ladies out of their retirement money. Great.
Increasingly in an extremely censored situation. So that's it. $3,000 in donations, please, to the Basis Project to try and pay for this, to get the new hard drives. Once the old hard drives have been recovered, that data has to go onto new hard drives.
Yeah, and you can buy a hard drive for $100. This is not a $3,000 project, so I don't know.
Even $60. Some are $60.
Yeah. I mean,
Amazon Prime is your friend, Miles.
Well, he's talking about 12 gigabytes of data. In that case, yeah, it might cost you $500 to $800 to buy enough hard drives to store all that, especially twice. But where's the rest of the money? I don't know.
Well,
and then
the
idea is then to get copies of that to people who want those.
And he's going to be selling the whole archive once he gets it together, thanks to your kind and generous $3,000 donation to an alleged rapist. Great.
Want that information. So that's really it. And that's a positional statement.
That's it. My positional statement, Tere Joyce, is I need $3,000 right now.
And I don't
Just
think there's
a positional statement.
Yeah.
Much more to say. Things are very serious, very grave, and we're in a stage where we need to recover what we can. We have the 3 existing related basis sites, the backup basis project, which has got very little on it. Basis Restricted, which has got very little on it, and Stepping Stones to Awareness, which has really got a lot of the stuff from really way back in the late 80s, the early 80s, VHS stuff with Anthony J. Hilda and Montauk stuff and whatever.
Oh, Montauk stuff. Yeah, that's great. That's real high quality information, Tere Joyce, and that should be preserved
Right.
forever, right? Yeah, yeah. And the Montauk Project,
Very
the Prover. CW Chandler talked about this too. The Montauk Project, people involved with that, the prover for whether you were involved with the Montauk Project or not was they would put you in a reclining chair and watch you jerk off. That's how they told. I'm telling you, these guys were sex creepers too. And there's something about sexual energy, so we need you to sit in this chair and masturbate while we watch you. I'm not kidding. It is crazy. The Montauk Project is largely disproven garbage. I've been to that base where they said there was these underground base. There's nothing there.
Which we put a lot of that up, and again, a lot of that is even available now from the direct sources on YouTube. Things like George Knapp material and stuff like that. It's well worth getting across all that material. Things are moving very fast. Things are very serious, and we're going to do what we can to recover that information, get it all lined up in a 1 to 116 with all the subsections and all the other things like the basis conferences and the AMASH material, because remember, all the AMASH material went when that went down. And I know Joanne has her copies, but you know, it's still important stuff. It's still important because people came. They came to say what they're going to say, and I was there to record it. And I owe it to them, all the witnesses, that we recover that material. They made their statements, and it's for you in the wider world to see that, have it as a research resource. That's what the whole thing's all about, and that's it.
That's it, Tere Joyce. He needs $3,000, right? That's it.
Yeah. But
That's his positional statement. His position is, I need $3,000, Tere Joyce, in order to put my stuff back on the internet. Great.
and he
Great.
doesn't address the allegations. Like none
No,
of it. It's just,
no, he just
I had
says,
an
this is-
incident, she was
this
a drunk
is-
woman.
This
It's
is
just
serious.
that I need
This
3,000.
situation is serious, Tere Joyce. I
Yeah.
got arrested for rape. That's pretty serious. But
Did
this
he?
whole-
But he doesn't even say rape in this, though, does he?
I
Like,
know,
he-
no, and this
it's a
whole story is
situation.
bizarro because
It's-
if
Right.
July 29th, he got arrested for rape, and he said he spent 7 hours in jail, and then they released him. They're like, I can't imagine then going on the internet and starting a fundraiser for my conspiracy land nonsense right after I got popped for raping somebody. But here's where we're at, right?
It makes
Like-
you wonder, like, what does he really need the $3,000 for? Is it really for his to read? Like, why
Yeah.
dollars? But I don't even know what that equates in American dollar, really. But he needs it.
Maybe it's for the lawyer. Maybe he's going to use it for the lawyer because lawyers ain't cheap, especially in a rape case.
Maybe
Even
that's
getting a
what
lawyer,
it is.
I just even getting a lawyer to like help you plead guilty could be $3,000. To try to get a lesser sentence or something. So this story is crazy, and I thought we could spend some time though talking about some of these nutters that came out of the Basis Project for people unaware, because we definitely have Max Spears, would probably be the most famous. But then we have
Yeah.
Sarah R. Adams, who is right now, Sarah R. Adams is selling people a Stargate, a medbed session for $250 where you go through a Stargate, up to a spaceship, and spend some time in a medbed, but then at the bottom, they admit it's just a Skype call. That's one of the scammers that he promotes or has promoted.
It's ridiculous.
We've had
How did
Randy
you-
Kramer. Randy Kramer claims to be a super soldier that fought these giant centipedes on Mars and bug creatures. And I just want to say that Randy Kramer watched too much Starship Troopers. And then he decided he was a super soldier fighting alien bugs in space and reptilian aliens. And, this is the stuff that people talked about on the Basis channel. So I mean, I like conspiracy land stuff, but to me, this Basis Project was like too much woo, too much crazy. No, and nobody ever had any evidence of anything they talked about on his shows that I have seen.
No,
It's just
it was
people
all
telling
personal
stories.
testimony.
Yeah.
It was all somebody telling it what their experience is or what their knowledge is.
Lord Ludicrous Plaid says you need to make a shirt with nutters. I love it when you call them nutters. Makes me laugh. I don't know a better term for these people except nutters. They've all got superpowers. They've all talked to aliens. They're in contact with aliens. They know aliens. You know, they've been up in the spaceships. Zero proof of any of it. We're supposed to trust them, Tere Joyce. Now, you did a more in-depth show on this on your channel. I'm gonna make sure that I get over to YouTube right now before I forget, and I'm gonna find your channel and I'm gonna put it in the description so people can subscribe to Not My Rabbit Hole. I love that name. I wish I would have thought of that. That's one of those things. I go, oh, I wish I would have thought of that one. Right? All right, I copied it now.
When I get my email out to people and I go notmyrabbithole@gmail.com and they'll go and it gets a laugh. I've given it over the phone and it gets a laugh. I'm like, oh, cool, it works. I was so surprised by it.
I'm gonna put here subscribe to Tere Joyce's channel. See, I'm a terrible show host. You started on a real show. Now you're here. I'm sorry, Tere Joyce.
No, I mean,
well, you're slumming it with me now, right?
Right, right.
Like, I saved it. It's in the description, so everybody, please do check out the description box of the video and subscribe to Tere's channel because she's a lot more knowledgeable about this particular story for sure. Jonaside with the kind and generous. He always says this. David Wilcock will return with a mustache. He has been pushing David Wilcock to get a mustache for quite some time now. It's pretty funny. So we want to thank Jonaside for his kind and generous $2 donation. Praise the cash, friends.
You're watching Truthseekers. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
I put my son to work, Tere.
Hey, you know what? You gotta do what you do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh, look at this. Matthew Riot with another kind and generous $24.99 donation. Where's the Discord, dude? Where do y'all hang out? I started a Discord and then I got busy and I stopped hanging out in it, but I'm gonna bring it back and I will provide you guys with the links in the next couple of days. Boy, what a kind and generous donation. I want to thank you very much, Matthew Riot, for your continued support of the show. Praise
the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. You're watching Truthseekers. Praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
And there we have it. Thanks to everybody for their kindness. We don't have a cash cow here, Tere. We have a cash clown. And I'm going to put him to work. He wants to do a zombie next, he said. So we're going to have a cash zombie. Send money, right? So how do you see this thing playing out? Like, do you think that he's going to get out of this somehow? Or do you think he's going to be convicted if these charges are true and not some kind of scam?
Okay.
And we're going to follow up on this to make sure it's not a scam. Because what a scam that would be. I got charged with rape. Send me money. Right? That would be crazy if somebody would be willing to do that.
Well, I went through a few about what could possibly happen. One is, first of all, he looks nervous to me in his explanation, even though he's being evasive and he's going right to the money. He's obviously desperate about money. Maybe he thinks that this is his last time to even get any money. He's got to come up with some story. It really looks like he I mean, this is what I'm reading. Now, I could be wrong. It's my opinion, my assessment of the video and how he looks. But it's like it's almost like they're at the last shot he's looking down. It's almost as like has deceived these people for so long. Like he has such a it's almost like somebody who knows that they can just snowball somebody no matter what. It's such a con in the video.
Yeah, well, if the people listening to his show believe those guests he has, they'll believe anything. They will literally believe anything. Yeah.
They defend them, and they also, he has represented a spirituality for people. Through bases, people feel that they have an understanding of what they think the real world is all about. And that world is magical. It's, it involves Men in Black, and it involves things that we watch at the movies. And everybody wants to feel special. So whenever he has the camera on somebody, oh, they're really special. They're coming out. They have a special knowledge. They're special skills.
They're special, all right. Yeah.
Which is really, if you go back into time, it's very Uberman. It's almost very Nazi in a way. In the sense that it's like comic book, which is also structured on the perfect human. So they all fall into that category. And, and honestly, I found in my own personal experience of being on shows, there's an underbelly of pornography in the background.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, Tere Joyce, but I have 2 monitors, and right now I'm playing blonde pornography of chicks that look kind of like you, because that's what I do.
Oh, well,
what are you saying? Did you hear what you just said? I've been a guest on shows, and there's an underbelly of pornography. Thanks. You're giving away my secrets. I'm playing porn.
Everybody, I mean, look.
I'm playing porn lookalikes of Tere Joyce right now. Right now, I'm playing porn lookalikes of Tere Joyce.
Honestly, I feel kind of flattered. I'm like, wow, I'm feeling flattered, That's how I look at it. But hey,
Wait, I don't know. No, but explain this. Why is there an underbelly of pornography when you're a guest on a show? You don't mean my show. You mean these?
No, not your show. I'm saying,
okay.
There's been a lot of women who have said that there was pornography around. There's association. There's also association with his website. And his whole explanation of how there's been rumors about him actually working in pornography, and that he has, and on his own site, there's a guy named Lee Kieran Perrin who alludes to some stuff, and he also alludes to the fact that Max Spears knew about it. And,
interesting.
And Max Spears, before he died, this is a fact, because I double checked it with Vanessa, his mom, Vanessa Bates. But he went after Max with a knife before he went to Poland, and so some people believe that there is an association with websites. There's another guy named Ben Deschaines who's from Canada that had a long time ago sent me like domains that are connected to some of these characters. I talked about this when Kevin Moore interviewed me. I interviewed Kevin Moore. That thing, the exchange, he interviewed this part about what I was presented with. And again, I can't say that this is like set in stone or these people have been actually involved with this. But Miles Johnston, 1066 watts, on his YouTube channel, there's a 10 that comes up in a string of things. And he explains how this one, like it's ukvideoblank.com, blah, 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 is, mine is like, they were .org, a .com. So I'm in a way, but it's just a coincidence. And, some of these people, we can all, be connected to the same IP address, but that doesn't mean that you know who the consumer is. And there was just all this stuff that that he was explaining on his website. And
there's connections. There's connections.
So what's
there.
The connection? Like if they're taking his computers, if he's saying they may confiscate my computers, well, why would they take his computers if he has a woman that he had it like maybe they were hanging out?
Physical rape with, his computers would be irrelevant to that. So maybe this Marie from UFOs is right.
But why would that be relevant to take his computers and his mobile device? Why?
Yeah, there might be more charges. There might be more charges coming. Yeah. And Alien Girl is here. I saw you. Alien Girl just did a 1 year anniversary show, which reminded me that I skipped mine. I forgot to do that. But congratulations, Alien Girl, for 1 year doing her show. We just passed 1 year in June, so maybe we'll do that. We'll have a party one night. Terry, you're bringing the dildos, though.
Oh, hey, okay. It's good to know beforehand.
Yeah.
I'll go on Amazon to see what, I'll
No, don't worry about it. I've got plenty. Terry Joyce, I've got plenty. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is
Yes.
it a bring your own dildo party, or is it?
Yes. It should be a
It's
bring your
probably
own.
better
Yeah.
with COVID.
'Cause nobody,
right?
nobody wants to use a used one, especially given the current health crisis. Sure.
Will your dildo be wearing a mask? That's the important.
Yeah, or maybe we could just use the dildos with condoms then, right? This
Right.
conversation is getting crazy, Terry Joyce. Forget it. Forget it. Yeah, so I gotta find out. We're gonna do a follow up here show after we find out for sure if the charges were indeed filed against him, and if they're either way, I want to know, because if this guy really is LARPing based on claiming to have had rape charges leveled against him when that is not factually accurate or not correct, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
and
But could it be
Spooky
that
is-
crazy?
Yeah, Spooky is here, and Spooky kindly helps me with graphics sometimes, and I'm too poor to pay her, so please do somebody buy her a coffee. The link to buy Spooky a coffee for helping us out here is in the description. I'd appreciate if somebody would do that. That would really be helpful, because as you know, Terry, running a show, like the stuff I have to do is so endless that, like, to stop for an hour and make a thumbnail, even something simple, like, people are like, it's not that hard. Well, I'm not a graphics person. Well, I'm pretty good at it, but anyway, I don't have time to do all this stuff. So we're hoping to hire help, right? Besides the cash
Right.
clown, right? Yeah. So
Well,
please
that's
buy
good.
somebody buy her coffee, yeah. And dildos aren't cheap, Terry Joyce. Cost
Hey,
money.
yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah. So
praise
special
the
thanks
cash.
to praise the cash, and special thanks to Spooky for the thumbnail artwork I use to promote this show. Please buy her a coffee for helping out. Yeah, I'm and somebody better send me $3,000 so I can make backups too, Terry Joyce. That's my position.
Right.
I need
What's
$3,000.
the positional?
That's my
What is like
positional
a paper? Is he
yeah.
writing a paper? Like, I have a position. This is my positional piece on the fact that my went down.
This is so crazy. This whole story is so crazy. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to everything lately, Terry Joyce, but there is so much stuff going on right now with, like, people working for criminals in the UFO community, like out and out fraud criminals. We mentioned earlier that there's this Billy Carson. He's running a Rolls Royce raffle, and he doesn't have, the legal right to run a gambling operation. And he previously was convicted of fraud. We've got all this stuff going on. Travis Walton, major witness, saying that they made it all up. It was all a hoax to win money, prize money from the National Enquirer. And his childhood friends confirming that he wanted to do UFO hoaxes even as a child to convince the town that the town was being visited by aliens, with helium balloons and flares and stuff. So it's like a house of cards, and it's coming crashing down. And also, the YouTube and Conspiracy Land internet is not what it was a year or two ago. We've got all these channels. Kerry Cassidy deleted from YouTube. We've got I don't know. I think Cliff High got deleted from YouTube. This Beyond
Stuart
Mystic,
Swerdlow got deleted too. The
Stuart
Montauk
Swerdlow?
guy.
the
Yeah.
Montauk guy, he got deleted. Kerry Cassidy got deleted, and part of me does wish that there's backups of all that, because it is part of at least Conspiracy Land history, right?
Right. And so now all those interviews, like, for example, a lot of Max interviews are gone. The Carrie
Max Spears
the
interviews, yeah.
between, Max Spears and James Casbolt. It's fascinating to listen to, whether or not you believe them or the material or the people that are doing the shows. But it's like a whole history that's been deleted, and I even wonder, is it deleted on purpose?
Yeah.
It's
Look
like,
at this.
and they all are. It's funny, but a lot of them, the ones that we're talking about, they have grown into a conservative slant. There's they have a conservative.
Yeah, they're all Trumpers. They're all
Right.
trippers.
You
And
know,
letter of the alphabet. But please,
Right,
nobody say the letter of
exactly.
the alphabet. We don't want the
And they
YouTube
perpetuate
algorithms to
this
strike us down. Yeah. Yeah.
They even started the conspiracies before that letter of the alphabet came about. They were
Sure.
the originators of that material in the first place. And yeah, and then they went underneath that banner as if it was being dropped by that whomever that would have been. So now, and they are going down now for talking about meth. And also, let's throw in the children in there, as what could happen. That's a
Yeah,
big
the mole
reason why
children.
people
That's a
get-
big story. Yeah, the mole children.
Yeah.
Right?
Sean Atwood from True Crime Podcast pulled all of his material on the man who didn't, kill himself, which is trending in the news. Not because it's not be talking in the mainstream, but YouTube is so sensitive to that topic that it just seems like you're not allowed to talk about it unless you're a bigger franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've noticed too that like certain people can get away with more. Like if you're a Lex Friedman or a Tim Pool or a Joe Rogan, you can talk a lot more freely. They're afraid to stamp out the huge show
Or
hosts.
Russell Brand.
Yeah,
But
but the
why?
but the
Why do
smaller
they get away
the smaller
with
channels,
that?
they don't care. They'll just delete you.
Do
Yeah.
they get away more because they have more advertisers and there's more people connected to them? They're big money
More
makers,
money.
and that gives them.
Yeah.
But within that, are they still controlled? Do they really have freedom of exploration? Like what? Because I think that, for example, I think my personal opinion is that Sean Atwood is controlled by the people that handle his show, because he has producers and this and that. They're like, you know what? You're not talking about this probably. We want you to keep the YouTube channel. So you're going to dump this stuff. He had to do 2 appeals to YouTube to get back on again.
Yeah, and there's a lot of these guys that like came from legacy media, or they still have a foot in legacy media, and so they're using some of that old model of like you've got a producer, you've got people involved with the show that are telling you what you can and can't say. I once had an interview to be a radio show host on a radio station, and it was like a talk radio station. I thought this would be a perfect job for me, and then they gave me the rundown. It was like, I met the producer, and he's like, these would be the lists of subjects that you can talk about each night. And I'm like, you got the whole month plotted out already? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Like, okay, here's your talking points, basically, and just repeat what we want, Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But
Like
it
from
is
week to week,
definitely
something's going to happen.
it is definitely a different conspiracy world out there. And now all the nutters are going to Parler and Telegram and BitChute and DLive and Rumble, because they're not quite as stamping out the people that are just telling fairy tales, but they're starting to, I think. So we'll see what happens.
But
Interestingly,
when you
Twitch, we normally broadcast to Twitch. We couldn't broadcast to Twitch tonight because the word that this man got charged with, the crime this man got charged with, was in the title, and apparently they don't like that word. So I just said, forget it. I don't care about Twitch anyway. Nobody's watching over there for the most part. There's like one person. We have one Twitch fan. Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting that it is definitely a different world than it was on the internet 2 years ago. There's so many things that you just don't even want to talk about for fear. I find myself like, if I see an interesting story and I want to cover it, I go, forget it. Like it's just.
Am I going to lose my channel over it?
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Just say,
and people say, well, what do you care about being on YouTube? Just go to BitChute. Well, BitChute, not only does BitChute have a reputation, but it doesn't, because it has a reputation of being that kind of channel, it doesn't have the algorithms or the traffic either. I mean, it might because people are over there, but still YouTube, if you want to actually really make money too, from your channel, you're going to have to follow the guidelines within the structure of what we're in right now. But even if you decide to go to one of those other channels and people hear you talking about whatever that is, first there's a stigma to it. It's like you're automatically in the bad boy club and the disinfo club. So
yeah, and I love how these guys they all they have guests that.
separates people.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're breaking up a little bit, so I'm having a
Yeah,
hard
go ahead.
time knowing when you're
Okay.
finished. I don't want to step all over you, so I apologize.
Sorry.
These people all have this attitude like they were telling the truth, and that's why they got stamped out. It wasn't because they had some nutter that was saying, I don't even want to say some of the things the nutters say, but absolutely ridiculous stuff about the thing you take in your arm, or absolutely ridiculous lies about the current health crisis. And then they act like, our channel's all about the truth. When all they're doing is peddling fairy tales and like conspiracy land nonsense with no evidence, no backup, bad sources. We've been talking about this. How come so many of these people in conspiracy land used like pedophiles for their sources for their alien stories, or use convicted murderers or criminals or fraud? Guys that were convicted of fraud are going to tell me the truth about the pyramids, right? It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, and they do, and that word that you said a little bit earlier, because I'm even afraid because of the algorithms too, but they're always talking about that, right? Why are they always talking about that? And why why did some of the major whistleblowers do 17th letter of the alphabet when they were coming, like, for example, Mr. Cappy? There's
because I think they wanted to broaden their tent. They wanted a bigger tent, and everybody was talking about this. Let's talk about this. And a lot of them went all in on it. And now they all look like idiots. They all look like idiots to me. But it's funny, some of them are boomeranging around and talking about that again and believing it again. Trump's coming back to the White House any day now, if you listen to some of these nutters,
Well, there are some people, like, for example, A.J. Goodman. I don't know if you know his channel, but he talks about what's going on with Trump and this and that and stuff. And I trust him because he's pretty much a journalist. He's in the middle of things and assessing them. But the other people, like Simon Says, who is lobbying on Asian cooking channels to pick up viewers to keep getting hits to make money, because he really makes money. They must all be greedy, and in a way they siphon them, right?
It's so funny that none of those letter of the alphabet, none of the people that follow the letter of the alphabet are Trump, big Trump fans, even know that Simon Says, Mr. Parks, before he was a Trump expert and an American, politics expert, he was telling everybody that he was banging cat aliens before this, and having babies with cat aliens before he was doing this.
And people believed it. They believed him.
They believed that story. So now they believe this.
Yeah,
he's supposed to open all these healing centers. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars of investors, right? He's going to have med beds all across America. Sure he is.
A bunch of people took cyanide with Heaven's Gate and put their Nike shoes on. Where does it go to overall in some areas? They were believing in aliens too, that there was an alien savior. And then you get into L. Ron Hubbard, who was a science fiction writer in the beginning, and there's an alien aspect to his religion, or if you want to call it a religion, it's a nonprofit, right? So there's an element, and he came through the UFO stuff with Jack Parsons and stuff. So there's a genesis of this. Is it fiction telling? I mean, he was a fiction writer, so.
Yeah, who famously said, if you really want to be rich, what you should do is start a religion. He said that before he started a religion, and look at it now. Yeah, Scientology is a whole bag of nutters, man. That is just a crazy thing. And Heaven's Gate as well. And a lot of people can look at some of these cult-like figures that are around today and see that could some of these people could easily be going down the road of Heaven's Gate or Jim Jones or some other thing, right? When they keep on saying the aliens are coming or ascension is happening any day now, and then nothing happens, they got to do something. So that's when people start getting suicided, right?
Yeah, and then some people are calling the 17th letter of the alphabet a cult. There's a cult following.
Definitely cult-like belief in that.
Cult-like behavior. So I full on think that there's a possibility that there would be people that would believe that to occupy something that they shouldn't be occupying because they believe something's happening there.
Yeah.
I'm making reference to somebody right now.
I
But
can't tell you how many,
you can make
even friends and family were into that, and they know like I'm a conspiracy guy, so they would come to me with all this nonsense, and I'd be like, "This is garbage. This is such garbage." As soon as the first prediction, the first major prediction was about Hillary, getting arrested or something, and that didn't happen, and that was way, way early on in that thing. And then the next
yeah,
couple of major predictions, nothing happened. I said, this is garbage. It's somebody LARPing on the internet. And it pretty much turns out I was right. And it was. But it was more than one individual. Yeah, Zach Zizzle says... Well, yeah, I think Terry's internet connection is giving up the ghost on her. Zach Zizzle says, eventually...
yeah, I'm getting like a little bit of a.
It must be the deep state trying to stop us from telling the truth. Terry, that's what it is. It's the deep state cabal trying to take our stream down. Yeah, because we're disinformation agents.
That's exactly what it is.
And Miles Johnston was bringing people the truth about all those super soldiers fighting those aliens on Mars and stuff for the last 20 years. Right? Great.
Yeah, yeah. So it's it's definitely it looks like a hustle. It looks like a hustle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than any real information, and I think maybe my prediction about Miles Johnston is it might be true, and I don't think it may not go super well for him in the end. I think that, and this could be a sign of a whole thing starting to come down with some of these people, that it's being revealed like just how seedy this community is in its underbelly. The people that have been the forefront of the knowledge, they seem to be like criminals, like borderline criminals, hanging with criminals, interviewing criminals that are in prison, like Captain Mark Richards, and saying that that guy was in a secret space program. It's just
while he's in prison, he must be teleporting out on those secret missions. Didn't you hear her? Kerry Cassidy said that he teleports out of the jail cell and goes on those secret space missions. Okay, and the guards know about it. Yeah, it's just this is a point of ridiculousness. But you're right. Recently, we did a story here. All the top UFO celebrities working for a convicted fraud felon from the state of Florida who's selling medical cures on his website that he can't prove, right? He's got this stuff he's selling that cures every ailment you have. It's literal snake oil, and these top UFO celebrities are all working for him, taking a check from him to talk, their alien BS stories, I guess. It's great. And there's all these criminals in this thing. There's all these sex creepers especially, but lots of other criminals too. I think they may be drawn to this because it's like, instead of like robbing a bank and taking that major risk, I'll just sell garbage on my website, like crystals and, 5G blocking devices and, colloidal silver and all this nonsense.
Things that kill you when you
the pyramid power, Tere Joyce.
I'm here. Do you feel me? I'm here. Like, the tarot. Well, not the tarot readings are okay, but there's a lot of.
I got in trouble for that myself. I had a tarot card reader. Some people lost their goddamn minds just because I had a tarot card reader. And I get it, but like I thought she was real nice, and I wanted to observe because I was thinking about doing that again. I wanted to observe a tarot reader, and I let her on my show. Next thing I know, I'm a sellout. I'm doing everything for money.
Is there like a reality to some of this, though? I mean, like
I wouldn't be here.
It's possible to be psychic, but like whether or not you're psychic to the level that you're doing. Battling the astral plane and, you're kicking ass. No.
Like Sarah Adams? Adams? Yeah, she's oh, wait a minute. We're gonna do this.
I we don't have that problem anymore. It's like, really? I just and then people go, wow, that's so cool. Just because she said it was. I just don't. Why are people that naive? and sometimes, honestly, I gotta admit, I've even felt like I bought into some of this and I got caught up in it. And then you try to figure out, well, what part of it's real and what part of it isn't real. Like when you do like interview somebody that you think is maybe telling some of the truth based on, you can kind of verify their facts somewhat. You know, this could be a credible guy, but you know, even then you're still, a lot of times we're just listening to people spin their own stories about who they are and what they've done. And you know, oh, I worked with the Billy Meyer Project. How many people have worked with the Billy Meyer Project? Oh, I worked on Area 51. You know, oh, you know what? I was on Mars, and then I worked 20 years in the Army, like Randy Kramer, and then he digressed at like 18 or something like that. I was back in high school again. I mean, I'm exaggerating the story, but he went back like 20 years and started over again. Or I'm a clone, or you know, I don't know.
Oh, I got to share this with you, Terry. You'll love this one. So, listen, I believe that Sarah R. Adams is such a narcissist that she is infected with that kind of narcissism that she doesn't care if people are talking crap on her. She loves the attention either way. And here's how I know this. I have never signed up for her mailing list. Somebody signed me up for it, right? I think she put me on her mailing list. I don't know. But anyway, listening to the divine, Sarah R. Adams is here, and in her mailing list, the people she emails, she's claiming that God put her on a plane to save everybody because the plane was going to crash, right? People are suffering because they do not have enough light energy within themselves, and anyone who is lacking in light energy will be depressed. They also may have issues on many levels, and she's going to help you with your depression, even though she's not licensed to, right? Yeah. Okay, right. Here. So she's on an airplane, right? I had to take 4 flights from Europe to get home, and customs made me miss a plane, so I found myself on a different flight, and the plane was in trouble. The pilot was panicking, and the children were crying, saying, "We're all going to die!" As I was being thrown around in the storm, immediately the divine said, "I put you on this plane to make sure these people are okay." So I lit up my abilities and encapsulated the plane in a light sphere and told the elements to not harm the plane, and sure enough, suddenly everything became calm and okay, and we had a safe flight.
Yeah, so she's basically.
I think she was watching that episode of Supergirl where Supergirl saves the plane, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, but yet people believe it. Some people believe this. I just
you really think people believe this? That she encapsulated the plane in a light sphere and saved everybody from dying? This is so stupid.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
she's got superpowers. She's got superpowers, Cherry. Okay. And she saved the plane from crash. The plane was going to crash. She used her light power, activate it, encapsulate it. That's what she's saying here. She used her light powers, and she encircled the plane in a sphere of light, and she saved all those people from dying with her superpowers, Terry. And she wrote this down and sent it out to her mailing list.
You know, I'm curious to find out. I'm sure there's lights here. There's this light. Where's this light coming on me? Look at that.
Yeah. And your video keeps stalling. Like, we got your audio, but your video keeps like just showing a screenshot or something. Like, yeah.
Oh, really?
Crazy. It's the cabal trying to stop us because we're CIA disinformation agents. In case you haven't heard, I am. I don't know about you.
Right.
Yeah, and Zach Sizzle says, "Don't make me encapsulate you in a light sphere again." Maybe that's what's going on. You're under attack by Tere Joyce. She's encapsulating you in a light sphere slowly on my show for all the crap you talked on her, right?
Yeah, you know, it's all about her powers. You know, like people came up when I lost my YouTube channel, they were going, "Oh, Sarah, you know, Sarah caused her channel to go down." I'm like, no, Sarah had nothing to do with my channel. Like, it's like, don't give these people this you know, like this power. You know, I know that she can heal people's cats from a distance.
She can align your chakras. She can take you up through a stargate to a spaceship, and she can travel through black holes to the other side and talk to aliens. And aliens meet her in a room every morning and talk to her. So why couldn't she say that's a lot more impressive than just taking a YouTube? That should be easy for her with her superpowers, taking your YouTube channel down. Maybe. I don't know.
Could be.
I keep a list. I keep a list of her superpowers, and every time she gets new ones, I write it down. I got this huge list. She could go through stargates, right? She can communicate with angels. She can communicate with her own past lives. She can time travel. It's an impressive list of superpowers.
Well, one of her superpowers that she said on my chat was that being blunt was one of her superpowers. No, I literally, yeah. She goes, blunt is one of my superpowers. I was like, that's not a superpower, Sarah. I don't want to.
That's a personality trait at best. That's
Right.
not a superpower, yeah.
Yeah, so she takes her superpowers to all levels.
And Matthew Wright says, Jimmy Church is going to get himself in trouble. Talking S like he did. Please watch the cursing in the live chat. The algorithm doesn't like it, but I appreciate your comments. And I just want to mention that we previously reported here that I believe that Jimmy Church had taken convicted fraud felon Billy Carson's ads off of his show. I listened last night because he interviewed Richard Dolan to see if they were going to talk about any of the recent controversy, and no, they didn't. It was largely a circle jerk. They jerk each other off, But the ads for convicted fraud felon Billy Carson are back on Jimmy Church's show. So I just want to mention that Jimmy Church must really care about his audience because he is letting a convicted fraud felon advertise his website, which sells fake medical products and cures and literal snake oil on his show. Good job, Jimmy Church, right?
Right.
Yo, Terry, you got a show. Can I got some snake oil. We could just make some shit, right?
Right,
Just
you can come on. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll come on and pitch it. I'll get a mustache, like a handlebar mustache. Step right up, folks. What ails you? We'll cure it. That's what Billy Carson is doing, and Jimmy Church is helping him find more victims, Jimmy Church. Is that what your audience is to you? A victim pool that you could sell access to your audience victim pool to these clowns and con artists? He had Sarah R. Adams talking about her superpowers. She's selling medbed sessions for $250. He's had Jason Shurka, who's telling people behind his paywall, him and his guest, that you can cure autism with camel milk and essential oils. That's the quality of Jimmy Church's show. And the ads are back. I thought we made a difference. I thought, well, good. At least we'll save some of Jimmy Church's audience members from becoming victims of this complete and total scammer. No, the ads are back. I guess Jimmy Church needs the money. Not a lot of people are buying that coffee, right? I don't know.
Yeah, they just there's no shame in what they're doing. It seems like if they put it out there and it's like, oh, let's go for it. Let's
maybe it gets a kickback. I don't know. Like for every victim, that signs up for the snake oil, he gets some money back, or I don't know. Or maybe he's just getting a monthly paycheck from Billy Carson for hosting those ads, selling his garbage. And by the way, Billy Carson just claimed in an Instagram post that his company got valued at $268 million. And I'm here to tell you, friends, if you had a company worth $268 million, you wouldn't need to sell fake snake oil cures for medical things on your website. The guy was selling toilet paper, Tere Joyce, during the pandemic on his website. I swear to God, he was selling toilet paper when that toilet paper shortage hit. If you had a company worth $268 million, you're not selling toilet paper.
Right.
Like when there's a toilet paper shortage, like a con artist. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I wonder was he selling it for a high price?
Yeah. It was like $5 a roll. I think it was $5 a roll.
$5 a roll. My God. That's such a lack of compassion. Because these people, they preach this thing like, oh, the evolution of humanity is if you're like 51% more service to others, this and that. And yet they sell toilet paper for $5. It's like, if you really cared about people, you'd be like mailing your toilet paper like you do You go, hey,
Yeah, and this guy's he's pitching scams all the time. Now he's
Right.
telling people, donate, I'm going to buy kids backpacks, because a lot of people in these tough neighborhoods, they don't even have a backpack. But he's never shown where any of the money goes. And he had a charity, and the IRS revoked his charity because he didn't do the legal thing you have to do, which is to disclose how much money you collected and what you spent it on. So he got 3 years worth of donations for a charity that he was claiming all kinds of things that the charity was going to do, not the least of which was create free energy devices so nobody'd have to pay an electric bill ever again. And we never get to see where the money went. It's just a black hole of money. We're in the wrong business, Terry. We need to start selling
that
snake oil.
Carrie Cassidy had on. That was, doing these devices, these batteries that you can put together, and it was like a free energy thing. Then, when he gave them tell people what to do, they couldn't do it or it didn't work right. There's something going on with that guy too.
Yeah. Stephen Greer also ran a free energy scam, and he collected something like $250,000, and then he never produced a working device. But don't ask him about it now, because he doesn't want to talk about it, and he blames some other people. Like, well, I gave the guy the money to build it, and he didn't build it. He just kept all the money. It wasn't me. Great. It was called the Orion Project, free energy scam. We covered it here previously. And that's what I'm like, why the hell am I in this thing with all these criminals and con artists and, but what you said earlier is right. I think there's something to some of this stuff. But the percentage of it that there is something to is so tiny that all these con artists and scammers rush in to fill the void.
Well, they're making up stories, because even if you look at Carrie Cassidy's resume, she's not a journalist. She doesn't have a degree. She went to film school, and it was about fictional characters and stuff. So she doesn't and then she calls herself a researcher, but really she's just fabricated a bunch of personalities, branded them. And then, they did they went out and did all these events, and it doesn't matter, if the person that was branded, Captain Mark Bridgers, he's not a murderer of a mastermind. He actually was there was he was creating a group to become take over Marin County, to be the new Camelot. And there was he was terrorism. He was basically
he was a cult leader. Yeah,
there was talk of all kinds of stuff. So it was it was beyond even. I mean, he gave drugs to young kids that were wayward and this and that, 17, 18 years old, and he got one of them to commit the murder instead of himself, like Charles Manson. But he himself was a cult-like figure, able to capture people in his world. And then Carrie Cassidy, what has he done now? Did he just bring the cult even farther with all his aliens and whatever, ching ching?
Yeah.
Mark Richards. What are they donating for? What are they giving him money for?
I love this. It's like David Wilcock. Donate to me so that I can make more videos talking about fake stuff. There's no value in the world. And I'm starting to get a lot of flack from some of these true believers, and what I say to them is, you need me here. Or do you just want to believe in fairy tales? If you just want to believe in fairy tales, then don't watch me. Because I'm going to look and dive deep into these subjects, and I'm going to tell you if it's horseshit or not. I'm going to tell you the truth and say this is garbage. This story's fake. The source is fake. Whatever the case may be, I want to get to the truth of these esoteric subjects. I don't want to just be. If I want to be entertained by stories about aliens, I'll watch Star Trek. Yeah. Or Stargate.
Aliens, which is almost as bad, because a lot of these guys.
Aliens is entertainment
over
for
the
sure.
ancient aliens. I mean, David Wilcock's been a speaker on ancient aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So was Sean David Morton, and so they've hybrid over into the mainstream media. And then where does Gaia come in all this?
Yeah. I heard somebody comment recently. If somebody knows in the live chat who said this, I think it was on Twitter, and it's a very astute observation, is that you go over to Jimmy Church and start telling your stories. And then if it goes well on Jimmy Church and you're able to sell your scam there well, then you go over to Gaia and you be a guest first on some of their shows with George Snorri and, whatever. Emery Smith, who's recently been proven to be a complete and total fraud. We've covered that here. It's great. And then if you do good as a guest on those shows, then you get your own Gaia show. It's like the
Okay.
the
It's like
scammer Olympics. You know, it's like the scammer Olympics, and that's the top tier is you get your own Gaia TV show. Absolutely.
So Sarah's been on Jimmy Church. Has Sarah been on Jimmy Church? I
Yeah,
thought maybe she
yeah.
has.
And George Snorri. Yeah.
They were and so they tried to get her onto the Gaia tier.
Yeah, and we're gonna do, Terry, we're gonna do a whole show about Conscious Life Expo and all of the scammers that are at Conscious Life Expo. I just started doing the research for that, and I gotta tell you, if you guys enjoy those gotcha moments that I bring you, this story on Conscious Life Expo is going to be my best dirt digging mission ever. And guess who's hosting it? Jimmy Church. Guess who's going to be there? Richard Dolan. He loves working with convicted fraud felons. And Billy Carson. The guy I can't believe that they booked him, but they did. And Linda Moulton Howdy Doody, of course, she's going to be there. And a whole lot of new age people. And I'll just say this. I'm still researching, but what I found so far is pretty shocking that they're getting this group of people together in a room and charging money for this. It's amazing to me. And Jimmy Church is the host. So, and I'm going to hold him personally responsible for every one of the scammers or fraudsters or convicted criminals that is being lauded as some kind of good information source at that conference, because he's the host. Right? Why would you host a conference full of people? You know, it's just crazy to me. But that's the top of the game. That's the top of the food chain, right?
Right. And they make a lot of money. There's a lot of people that show up for those events. I mean, it's almost
Sarah Adams. Sarah Adams is on Twitter asking if she could buy a booth, and Jimmy Church is like, absolutely, Sarah Adams, you can buy a booth and scam people for your fake superpowers and scam people for a medbed session, going to a Stargate, up to a spaceship that doesn't exist in the 5D world or the 7D realm or whatever astral plane that she's talking about. He's like, absolutely, you could absolutely buy a booth and sell your scams at this conference that I am the host of. Good for you, Jimmy Church. I can't believe this. This is crazy.
I went to a Saeed David Farman event. It was a 5D, They Live Among Us, I believe was the title of it. And they had Scientology people there. I even got naively like, you want to take a test? And I actually took the test. I took this, like the whole thing with the Richter scale, like that you do something and the wire jumps and stuff, read your emotions. I didn't realize it was Scientology. But
they do that free personality test. That's how they get you.
I go, and when I finally found out she's a Scientologist, because she said, well, think about something that you feel negative about, and then it jumped, right? And they go, oh, do you have a personal problem with that? Blah, blah. I go, well, actually, she goes, maybe we need to work on that. And I go, well, actually, I don't need a person. I don't. She will tell me what it is. I go, I really don't. She's like, you're getting uptight. And I go, what's my thing doing right now? I go, is it twitching? She goes, no. I go, it's perfectly fine. I go, that's because I'm calm right now, telling you that I'm not telling you what it is. And then finally, like her eyes like twitched. Like I saw her eyes actually twitch when she was looking at me. And then when I found out she's a Scientology, I just got out of my chair. I said, I can't even believe I just did this. Yeah.
And no matter what your problem is, Scientologists tell you that they can help you with it. And that's a problem to me, and that's why they get in trouble sometimes. I mean, there's all these crazy stories out of Scientology of people being kept against their will. And I have a friend that's way deep in it in Florida right now at their headquarters, and he works like a dog for free, trying to earn, because he doesn't have the money. If you don't have the $50,000 to go up to the next level, they just work you for a year. Like, okay, you're going to be hotel staff for the next year, and then you'll get your course for free. And these people do it. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's an interesting organization. And there's a lot of celebrities connected to that. they have a big celebrity here,
Yeah,
in
they
LA.
had a concerted effort to recruit celebrities so that other people would want to be involved. Well, Tom Hanks, or what is his name? Tom Cruise is
Tom
in
Cruise,
our group. Don't you want to be successful like Tom Cruise? And the funny thing
right?
is like if you talk to former Scientology members, they'll tell you the truth. They do have something called early gains, which means when you first get in, they teach you some very basic common sense things that will set you on a path to success. And a lot of people, when they first join, they experience all this, what they call gains. Like, I'm making more money. I'm more happy in my family life. I'm making new friends, and I'm feeling empowered and powerful in a way that I didn't feel before. And it's all very basic. And also, interestingly, as expensive as that stuff is, it's all been leaked on the internet. So if you really want to, you can explore all that stuff up to the Xanadu stuff at the end. That's like the greatest thing. Like after these people invested like $500,000 in these courses, at the end you hear the story of the aliens and the Thetans, and it's great. Oh, I think we might have lost you, Tara. No, you're still here.
Yeah, I bleeped out for a second, but I'm back.
We're going to wrap things up here, I think. I want to thank you very much for joining us, because I know that you have a great deal of knowledge about this Basis project and some of the characters, and I wanted to bring the audience a little more than my paltry knowledge of being a side spectator at that thing for years. I've never gotten way into it. I just knew it was garbage, and I stayed away from it. But every once in a while, when they'd have like Kerry Cassidy or somebody, or Randy Kramer, I would listen,
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and I want to encourage everybody, please do check out Tere Joyce's channel, Not My Rabbit Hole. The link for that is in the description box. So I'm going to throw you out of here and do a quick wrap up and bounce on out of here. And I promise all the listeners, and I'll keep Terry informed, I'm going to look more into this and get some more definitive proof of these charges being filed or not, and we'll do a follow-up, at least a segment to a future show if there's not much there to talk about. But thanks so much for doing this. And yeah, sorry that you had a slum here after you had such great career heights and guests on. Terry's been a guest on huge shows as a comedian, and now she's slumming it here with me. But she has an interest in this conspiracy land. Yeah, good. Yeah. Friend of the show, Tere Joyce.
Those other people,
All right. Well, thanks very much. I'm going to throw you out and do a quick wrap up. Thank you, Tere Joyce. All right, friends. What can I say? Yeah, and Lord Ludacris Plaid says, if you haven't listened to the chick from King of Queens, she lays it out. Yeah, she sure does. Yeah. Spooky says, great show. Tip your waitress. Yeah. Any other super chats, please get them in now. And I want to do something here. Listen, and on a more serious note, too, Terry has bounced out of here, which means so I have a little bit more time then. Sometimes a guest will stick around and then we talk after the show. I'm sure she's very busy. So I just want to mention that, I mentioned that this stuff is insanity. And I wondered, why am I even here? And then said something like, I just want to bow out of this crazy, insane table. Like, I finally got my place at the table, and now I'm like, this table is crazy, and I don't even want to sit at it. And I was feeling kind of discouraged. But anyway, they'll know who they are, but someone with the initials AW sent a kind and generous $50 PayPal donation. I want to encourage you. There's PayPal donate buttons both in the About section here and in the description of the video. If you want to send a large donation like $50 or more, it really is great if you could send it through PayPal, because then I don't get hit for the 30% that we do for the super chats. So with the initials AW, sent a kind and generous donation and wrote a really nice message. And I got to tell you that this message and messages like it really do make me feel great and give me some motivation to continue. AW says, I just heard that you wanted to leave the UFO insanity. I understand this completely, but as a true believer, I wanted to give you a little encouragement to stay in the fight. Few people understand this, but the work of people like you, Jeremy Rise, Mick West, and others is the most important work in this field. Don't look at the work you put in as chasing a shadow. As I see it, we have to play both offense and defense to win this fight. And you are one of the very few paramount defensive players. You're one of the most vital part of our team. We don't expect you to bring us disclosure, but we do rely on you, very few of you, to knock out some of the all too many charlatans. That work is of tremendous value in and of itself, even though you won't get the front page glimmer. You're one of the unsung heroes of the struggle, but you know that some of us lurkers really cherish your work. Sorry about my English. Hope you get the message. Wish I had more to give. No, that's so generous and so kind of you. But I have signed up for your Patreon just now. Hope you keep up your excellent work. Thank you, AW, for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, and for helping us to praise the cash, friends. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
There we are. And UFO Watchdog is here. Those who are not aware, UFO Watchdog started a website ages ago that was one of the things that helped wake me up to the fact that some of these people are not who they claim to be. And that and a few other things got me fact-checking people, got me looking into people, speakers' backgrounds, and I was shocked and amazed upon hearing and learning that some of these people were complete and total made-up garbage. You know, fake military backgrounds, fake, all kinds of fake things, right? Fake education, fake background, fake military service, fake job history, but they're going to tell you the truth about aliens when they're lying about all of that. I don't think so. So thanks to UFO Watchdog, who also mentioned earlier that in the early 90s, Linda Moulton Howe would get $2,000 to speak for 1 hour at a conference, and also she demanded a rental car, her airplane, and her hotel to be paid for. So that's an awful lot of money she's making for fake stories with fake sources. Linda Moulton Howe has been caught time and time again using a fake source. It's well documented, and someday we're going to do a rundown on that. And I'm also planning, it's kind of funny because every time I talk about Linda Moulton Howe being a fraud, I get hate mail. I get it. Some people like her. Nice old lady talking about those aliens you like to hear about, but her stories are garbage. And she's got an entire website full of fake stories. And we have done an incredible amount of research into the fake stories she presents on her website. And she's charging people money for stories that she's saying are true. And we can prove they're not. To me, that's consumer fraud. If you're going to take people's money and say, these stories about these aliens are true, get behind my paywall. Then we get behind the paywall and we find out she's using fake sources, people with fake educations, people that were never in the military who claim they were Navy SEALs, and on and on and on, friends. But then she does give you a disclaimer, like, well, these X-Files may be without valid evidentiary support, but they're still presented here because we feel this is important information. Really? She feels that fake information is important enough to archive on a website and charge people money for? It's garbage, friends. And we're here. Listen, if nothing else in my life, I'm going to make it a little harder for these people out there scamming people to continue to do so. Maybe, just maybe, this is a necessary thing in the world. And there should be somebody here giving you the other evidence. You know, the evidence that a story is fake, that the people that are selling you the story won't include in their so-called information. Isn't that nice? They always leave out all the proof that the story may be fake while they're selling it to you. And boy, friends, it is just it's just a cesspool out here. It's just a cesspool out here. We've got rapists, we've got child molesters, we've got convicted fraud felons working with Jimmy Church, Rich Dolan, Linda Moulton Howe, Nick Pope, and Lou Elizondo, right? We've got all of these people at Conscious Life Expo. I wouldn't buy anything. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to it. I would not buy any of their products, any of their information. No, none of them. I'm still looking into it, though, in fairness. I'm still looking into each individual speaker, right? And J.L. Harrington says, yeah, Watchdog, she sold out. I loved that, what is it called? A Strange Harvest, about the cattle mutilations. I thought she did excellent work on that story. May not be true, but she tried. to bring everybody the story, and she included all the evidence, including the evidence that some of that may be, just carnivores or whatever, but it was heavily slanted towards, it's got to be aliens. And it got worse from there. She's never done a good story since then. She's been riding off of that for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Smoldering Simon's parts. I do like your comment, but I'm not going to share it on my screen for obvious reasons. Please watch what you're saying in the live chat. The algorithm doesn't like things like that. Profanity and, overt stuff about sexual acts should be left out of our live chat, if at all possible. So, and everybody, we're on the honor system here. I'm going to go over and once again just thank the Super Chat participants. Anybody else got any money to throw at me? Do it now, because we're going to be bouncing out of here shortly. But I want to thank everybody for tonight. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the audience, and thank those people who gave us a great gift of some money to help us continue to do this. Yeah, it looks like Matthew Riot with 2, actually. He was asking where the Discord dude is. Where do y'all hang out? And I'm gonna get you that, Matthew. I'll post it in the next show tomorrow night. And also, did I miss the Jan Harzan expose when that went down? And yes, you did. It's on our channel. Mufon head arrested or something like that. Some time ago, we covered it right when it happened, Matthew Riot. And Jonaside with a kind and generous super chat donation saying David Wilcock will return with a mustache. Jonaside is obsessed with David Wilcock having a mustache. He thinks that David Wilcock would be much more believable and cooler with a mustache, and I believe that they are correct. I do believe it. And UFO Chronicles podcast is here. I will send you some love. And look, I don't know UFO Chronicles podcast, but I want to use them as an example. See, on his show, people can come on and talk about their experiences. But he's not selling you, he's not telling you, all these people are telling the truth, and this story is true. He's letting people talk about their experiences, and I think that's a good way to go about it. I love hearing some of the stories on UFO Chronicles podcast. Go check them out. You'll be glad that you did. I listen occasionally. I have no time to listen to everything that I want to, right? Melissa, who always, that's funny. Melissa sends me Mexican pesos, and every time she's like, don't get excited, it's only $3 US or something, because it looks like $100 US every time she does that. Spooky wants to come on and talk about her own UFOs app. Whenever you want to do it, I need guests, right? Any comments or questions for me, please put them in all caps. Otherwise, we're going to be bouncing out of here. Matthew Wright says it's an excellent way to go about it. Let these liars lock themselves into their stories. Listen, I think it's very telling, Matthew Riot, that Jimmy Church and Richard Dolan just did a show together last night. Did they talk about working for a convicted fraud felon in the form of Billy Carson? No. Did Jimmy Church comment on why he's letting a convicted felon fraud advertise, let's just say, questionable products and information on his website, letting his audience potentially become victims to a new age scammer? No. Did both of these guys talk about how they both are people making money from the Travis Walton case, and virtually those two are the only people defending Travis Walton from the recent, very substantial evidence that Travis Walton hoaxed the whole event to win some prize money? Of course not. They talked about some UFO show, I think it was, right? The J.J. Abrams show on Showtime, right? Great. Or was it the that other thing on Netflix? I don't know. But I can tell you that Billy Carson's ads are still on Jimmy Church's show. So good for you. Jimmy Church must really care about his audience members, because he's letting a convicted fraud advertise his website, which contains ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous claims, medical claims that he cannot prove. He's selling fake medical devices that he can't prove do anything. He's selling fake EMF stickers that you put on your phone that he can't prove do anything. So Jimmy Church just must like his audience members getting scammed because he's putting that guy's ads on his show, and I'm sure he's getting paid very well for those ads. And that's where we find ourselves. And, in the past I've gone, I don't want to be critical of another show host. Maybe I'm going to sell some weird shit here. I'm not going to sell anything that I think is a scam to my audience members. I get offers all the time lately. I guess, the show's starting to do better. So some people that have products are reaching out to me. But if they're not something that I believe in, if they're not something that I believe is a real product that actually does what the person selling the product claims, I'm not going to advertise it on my show and let my audience become victims of a scam. I wish I could say the same for one Jimmy Church. I wish I could. And I hope that he finds another way to make money and he doesn't have to do desperate things like that just to keep the show rolling, right? And I hope to God, I pray every day that I don't get there. Listen, all of you have my permission. If I start selling crystals and, garbage products, right? Orgone, pyramids, and all that garbage on my show, somebody check me. Somebody's got to be my friend. So see, I'm not trying to be nasty to Jimmy Church. I'm trying to be his friend and tell him, maybe Jimmy Church, you don't want to work with a convicted fraud felon. Maybe, Jimmy Church, you don't want to work with a guy who is right now running an illegal gambling scam in the state of Florida, raffling off a car, right? Maybe you don't want to work with a guy who keeps saying that he's giving all this money to charity, but he had his charity revoked because he wouldn't disclose how much money he collected or what he did with it. Where'd all that money go, Jimmy Church? Did you ever ask him? You've had him on as a guest. See, I want to be Jimmy Church's friend. And friends help each other. So Jimmy Church, let me help you. You don't want to work with a convicted felon fraudster selling this kind of garbage to your audience. You don't want to let him advertise. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, you don't have a good enough friend that would be honest with you and stand up and check you when you need to be checked. I'm very fortunate. I have friends that can be honest with me if I'm doing something dirty and say, maybe that's a little scammy, Steve. Maybe he doesn't have those kind of friends because all his friends are out there selling this garbage, right? So, and here's the thing, is that this stuff is just getting normalized. Like, well, yeah, they sell scam products, but everybody does, so I'm not going to, take those ads down or do anything about it. Yeah, I would call it a scam intervention. That's where we're at, UFO Chronicles podcast. We are in the middle of a scam intervention, trying to stop a scammer from scamming people and trying to stop Jimmy Church from helping a scammer scam people. And that's where we're at. Yeah, he needs all that. Somebody's saying, Victorious Eagle Warfare is here. Shout out, says he needs all that money so that he could buy the next guitar. I don't know if it's true, but I heard he was like a manager at Guitar Center. I always hated Guitar Center when I was in bands. I don't know. Not a fan of Guitar Center. They sell a lot of Mexican cheap-made guitars for lots more money than they're worth. Just my opinion. Out of Mind says, but Jimmy praises the cash. Yes. He's praising the scam cash. Out of Mind. Who cares if the cash has come from a scam? And look, I'm going to try to do my best to be as ethical here as possible. But these guys fight dirty. And I got to tell you that there's already people starting drama and nonsense. There's people right now digging into my past. And I'm going to talk about this on a future show. But there are people right now trying to dig up dirt on me. Why? Because I'm digging up dirt on them. And they want to see if they can make me look bad or look less than credible. Good luck. Go ahead. Well, you can't get me on almost anything, bro, because, I've been with the same woman for 20 years. I've been married for 13. I have a very boring life outside of conspiracy land. I'm not a convicted criminal, never been convicted of any crime, never been accused of any kind of scams. So good luck. Good luck. PhD hypnotist preview. You know what, Spooky? I really do need to look. Spooky was helping me with this great story that's going to be future, and I gotta say it's going to be a good story, but I need to dig into it a little bit more. PPL Contractors is here. Said you should stop associating yourself with Goofon and his crew, and he says you're losing respect. I'm aware. Maybe this is a good time to talk about it. I'm aware of Rich's association with Third Phase of Moon. I'm not a fan of Third Phase of Moon. Personally, I find very, I don't even know what to say here, except the only thing that I find at all to give me pause about Rich from Goofon is his association with Third Phase of Moon. But then I was thinking about what would I do, PPL contractors, if Third Phase of Moon asked me to put some videos on their site and allowed me to promote my channel. Maybe I would cave and do it. I don't know, honestly. I would have to really, I don't think I would, but that's my judgment. That's my decision to not associate myself with that channel. And I don't know that I can blame Rich for choosing to promote his channel in that manner, right? And I'm sure that Rich disagrees, and he'll tell you, I disagree with some of the stuff they talk about it or things that they've done in the past. They're trying to do better, things like that. So I gave, I don't know, listen, it's very easy. It's very easy to make an enemy. Sometimes it's hard to make a friend, PPL contractors. So unlike a lot of these UFO celebrities and hucksters, I will let anybody ask me questions here in the live chat. I'm not going to block you because you asked a question that, whatever. We have open discussions here. And my opinion of Rich from Goofon is I like a lot of the stuff that he talks about on the show. We agree on many things, but we also disagree on many things, and I think that's okay. That's healthy. But I decided to just, I suppose, take Rich for who he was, not who he works for, and so far as like all he does for them is like make a video that they take and put up on his thing. I don't know that that's problematic. Would I do it? Probably not, because I'm not a fan of their channel or some of their previous, let's just call it work. But that's my take on it. His take may be different, having gotten to know them and talked to them and whatever. Matthew Riot says, I don't hold Steven responsible for others' views, but yeah, Goofon is a goof. Yeah, maybe. I like the guy. He and I have a lot in common, right? So until he gives me reason to think otherwise, I think that he's generally a good guy who really is out there looking for the truth behind these esoteric subjects. He's very passionate about UFOs. The guy he does a show every day. It's like 7 days a week he's talking about UFOs. And, I got to respect somebody that passionate about any subject, right? Spooky says, I might clip parts of this. Okay, but make sure that you give me a royalty payment, right, Spooky? No, you have my permission. Oh, by the way, I should mention that's true. Anybody is free to clip anything out of the show. Just please put our channel address when you do so. We're perfectly okay with that. Besides, I'm a big supporter of fair use. I use fair use myself, playing all kinds of things. So, friends, we are going to bounce out of here. I can't tell you how happy I am when there's an audience. And tonight, once again, we were blessed, right? We were blessed with a good one. And thank you for being a part of it. I want to thank once again all the kind and generous people that are sending super chats or PayPal donations or signing up. We have new Patreon supporters that are signing up. I want to thank each and every one of the new Patreon supporters. You can go search Stephen Cambion on Patreon, and you'll find me there. And it's $1 a month, and you get a backstage view, and I post some songs, and I post sort of previews to shows, and we do a monthly audio journal. And this month, I'm going to start a Patreon-only stream. It's going to be a short one, maybe an hour show that's just for Patreon supporters to come into the live chat and see a live show just for them. We want to make sure we thank and recognize those people who are helping us to produce the show. I also just want to take a moment to once again mention, if you are on listening in audio podcast land, you're missing half the fun. Half the fun is the live show and the live interaction with the live chat. You can come here. You can ask me questions. You can come here and tell me my show's terrible and that I've got a great face for radio. We have an open forum here for everyone to come and participate, and that's half the fun. So if you're listening in audio podcast land, go over to YouTube, search for Truthseekers, one word, look for the strange guy with the sunglasses. That would be me. And you too will, and hit that like button, or excuse me, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell. And you too will know when we're having a live show. And you are most welcome to come here, ask questions, talk to the other people watching the show, have an interesting discussion. It's always, everybody is welcome here. Skeptics, believers, truth seekers, you are all most welcome here. So I want to make sure that people listening in audio podcast land, because you're listening to repeats, you're listening to it after it was recorded, not live, please do come sign up. And if you're not already, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you're not already a subscriber on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help. Please like, comment, and share these videos. It really does help increase our reach. Comment on the videos. Smash that like button. For all I care, smash the dislike button, because YouTube counts that as engagement, and that will help me as well. So thank God to all of the haters, right? Actually, I want to check in on this. I check every time. It's funny to check before the show even starts to see how many downvotes. I love the downvotes. I love the downvotes before the show starts. No, we got no downvotes tonight. I guess downvoting somebody that is reporting on a well-known conspiracy theorist suddenly being arrested for rape is not something that people want to do. Yeah. Amateur numbers tonight, no downvotes. But thanks to all the people who did like it, really does help. Smash that like button. Leave some comments. I'm trying to reply to everybody's comments, or at least acknowledge it by liking it or hearting it. I do that every day. I set aside some time every day to interact with you guys. You are the audience that makes this show work. And Spooky reminding everybody once again, pushing that buy me a coffee. Really, somebody buy her a coffee. I'm poor, or I would, right? I got a lot of bills due. Oh, yeah, it's rough out there. I might start selling orgone and snake oil soon on the show, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, friends, I want to thank our guest tonight, Tere Joyce. I want to thank the audience. I'm always happy when there's an audience, friends. And tonight we had a great one. Thank you for coming here and being a part of it. So I think we're going to wrap things up here, friends. So until next time, friends, I'm Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.